Alright, let's get started. Okay? And there is one more thing. There is a 15-second delay, so it probably will be hard. Also, I am not a native English speaker, so sometimes sometimes I couldn't find a word, so it might be a bit laggy when I speak. But according to the DeviantArt poll, I should talk about shading, full shading and skin shading and overlay about shading. Thank you. So let's just move to it. Okay, Roman, bye bye, thank you for your coming, but now I must close you, liar, and everything, and your file. I'm sorry. No. Shall we start with the basics of basic, like where the light comes, or we just can move to the details, like how exactly I shade for, or flat areas. I have prepared a few files. 2 of them are sketch commissions, and the 3rd is my personal artwork, and I think this will be a good base to teaching. It's a bad word. So basics or details, it's up to you guys. Okay, alright. If Vance agreed. Okay, so basics, alright. So basics. First, you need to set the source of light. This is just a symbol which will show where the light comes from. Okay. We can set them high up. We can set them down below. Or we can set them beside the character. Let's just set them high up, and I will show how I start to shade. First of all, you probably, if you watched my speed paints, you can see that I shade first and day I color markings on fur. And why I do that? Why I do this? Why I do this like that? It's very simple. I always start with texture shading. So now we are at this step, texture shading. I try to choose the color rather dark color and dimmed, but never pure gray. It's important to always have a color in it, not really just dimmed. And I'm starting with, and this is you must always think about where the light comes. You must think where the light comes, and you must always, I don't know if must is a good word, maybe need to, never mind, you need to think about your drawing, about your character or whatever you are drawing as about a 3D object. If you see that the light is up, the more, if you see that light source is up, you must put a light shade just next to lines. Make this messy for now. Don't be afraid to use layers and layers mode. This is everything for people. This is for using. I will using multiply to shading. Okay, but why I do shade first? Is because of that. Markings shouldn't go against both lines and shade. Here there will be a better example here. If I would color this character just without shading, like that, let's make her markings. And just then, if I would shade it, let's try just putting something when oh. Well, markings just doesn't go along with shade. It doesn't cooperate. So sometimes it's just better to shade first and just then put the markings. Especially for characters, for very fluffy characters. Now, how to shade fur? Maybe in different way. Do you understand? Is it clear? Or you want me to tell again something? God, I forgot the word for Polish zrozumieć. Understand. Yes. Alright. So how do I shade fur? First, if we speak about the tailored shading, I'm putting one layer above everything, the top layer. Let's make him top, really top. Actually, there is some shade layers from before, but let's make this on top of everything. And I set another layer above its shade layer, turn it in multiply mode, and I'm driving the fur again. It's like line work for shading fur, to make it detailed. Just a little piece of it, because I don't want to do everything now. There would be not enough time. And now I'm setting again this layer let's call it shade, and I'm using white, pure white, but it not really must be a pure white. It might be just a much lighter shade of shade color. My English, I know. Let's set this pure white. And now I am using, there's a few ways how I'm doing it. Just make to this. This is how I draw full with not with so visible hair. This is good for very fluffy characters with thick fur. I'm using water tool, simple circle mode, and I'm setting density about 94, 90, sometimes even 98, and 0% like at minimum size. And then I'm just painting with quite wide size to this is important to change size 2, 3, even 4 times and again, so always there is to make a good texture out of it. Alright, but there is other way. There is airbrush. Next two way is made with airbrush tool. Set it on fine point, fine flat or fine hollow. I don't know if these brushes are now in default Python size, but I will give a link to download these brushes later when I just give this record to the YouTube with subtitles and with Polish version. Yeah, this is airbrush fine flat. Anyway, the airbrush is density. I set density at something around 30, 40, even 20, because water tool is really delicate, it's really gentle, and it's not really, there is no such a word in English nor Polish like edge. I mean, there is you can change it like by manipulating bleeding and resistance. the much resistance the tool is I don't want to say powerful. The trace is more visible. And airbrush. Airbrush is much more visible, so it's better to keep density much lower than with water tool. The minimum size, if you're driving full of course, is always like 0% or 1% or any kind of small percent. God damn it. My English teacher would kill me. And this leaves that mark. This tool is good for driving long hair, or more like human hair. Creatures with long fur. Okay, I need to set my Wacom again. And another way is with airbrush too, but with a fine hollow. It's this brush. It would give an effect similar to this one. It's good for long hair too. Of course you can put this and this technique and this technique together to experiment. Sometimes there is good too if you use the basic shade color. And you just painting till you can say this looks good, this looks just how I would sell it to somebody. Never mind. And now we can just... Oh, hello new user. Shrayaus. I hope that I just scared him off. Now I feel bad. Okay, now we can paint it. And now there is much easier to paint the markings. We can use the same tool to shade, but I rather prefer to using simple circle. Oh, and I always draw markings with airbrush too, but just density is set at much higher, like 70 or around. It's important to go along with just with shade. I know that I just have told it many times, but I'm saying over DeviantArt, and not only DeviantArt, that really many people just don't really care about it, and it works. And this is not that I just discover a new circle. Somebody just have to tell me about it too. But I don't really remember his or her nickname now, so I will tell it later too. So okay, but let's just came back to shading for a second. That was here. When we draw a texture, we can draw a shape, and I'm going to switch to this one. This is my new artwork. I have showed it on DeviantArt few days ago. When we just have a texture, we must draw shades of shape, and this is where the light source is really important. Let's just copy this little guy. Yes, and at this artwork I used two sources of light. The one source, weaker source, was settled here behind the back of this character, just like background showing here. And the second source, harder, was settled here. Okay, I think I will hide it, because, you know. But no, let's just, like, as a reminder. And now we can just follow the shape. We must think about them like about of 3D object, not a flat drawing, but a 3D object. I'm using airbrush. I often use this tool. Density may be placed at 70, 80 or 30 if you want just more gentle shades. And then, when I have this shaders dropped, I'm using blur to make them smooth. It's not really necessary, but if you're such a mess like me, it's better to just blur something, certain things. but this is shading I'm using for it. Oh, this is shape shading, and sometimes it's worth to add to the texture shade places. I don't know how to tell it. Not really a shape shading, as I'm calling it, but too shape shading. God damn it. To add a darker areas where light never comes, like these places or places just below the neck or inside the wrist. The English word for nadgarstek. Wait a minute. Anyway, never mind. Maybe. Probably yes. Let's just say wrist. The darkest places. And this is the drawing with texture shading, with darkest places shading, and with the shape shading. There are setlet one above one with each with different opacity. It's always worth to play a little with the opacity to make shades darker or lighter, or much like you would like to see them. And now we can go to the lighting, highlights. I'm using to it airbrush, of course, with really small density, like 20 or even lower. And I'm using mode overlay. Light, it may be pure white, but I would advise to use color to it, like golden or icy blue. I was using very light yellow, because this is color. No problem. Goodbye. Why have I waved my hand? Never mind. I'm using airbrush with very low density, and of course I remember that there are 3D objects, and I remember where the light source, the angry sun, is set. I'm just drawing it. There is sometimes need to blur or change the opacity. I'm keeping it low. For most of the time I'm keeping it just low, to not make artwork too bright. But it's really up to you which density you would like to use. 20% or even 100%. It depends on preferences. I was using there a three layers with overlay, with lightning. And highlights. When it comes to the metal-like coral-like color, circle around the neck. It's best to change density for even 60-70% or whatever would be better for you to hand, and draw a thin vertical lines. And of course one layer of overlay to alright. What was streamer has set access level to everyone. Never mind. One layer of overlay for light source from glowing eye or glowing light bulb, and one layer of luminosity. Luminosity is a very strong layer. If you set them to 100%, it always will be very visible, even if normal mode This is how look a normal layer on a white background and on a dark background. It looks like that really delicate, but if we just switch it on luminosity, plus one more thing. If we are keeping this layer like luminosity, the mode will be working only for layers within the folder, for this folder, and will not it will not give any effects for layer outside of the folder, even if the layer is below our folder. So just let's put it here. Strong layer. It's a very strong layer. So I advise to keep it low. Of course, luminosity mode is good for given, not a given light, for the light set on object. Just you must be careful with it. Let's turn every layer on. And this is stage 3, where while I just like, this is the end. Wow, that was depressing. Yay, artwork is ready almost. Just a watermark. Anyway, this is how I shade. If I didn't... Oh, if you are starting with shading, there is... the good way to start is to... When you draft line work and you want to shade the fur, it's better to begin with... when you're shading, of course. Let's set below layer. Oh. The first goes like just simple circle. The first goes like that on the center. Second, near the line work. And the third and fourth just at the end. It doesn't really matter, but it is good when you're starting. And to just get your hand used to drawing. I remember that the first time when I just was drawing with my Wacom, I couldn't really control my hand, like, what is it doing? I still cannot control my hand, what is it doing? But it's not the point. Well, that would be it, I think. If there is something what you need... Oh, and plus, that was a shading tutorial, but I'm also prepared to anatomy tutorial, if you would like to. It's up to you. Why there is no music? Where is my music? Oh, and there are music artists. That's good, that's very good. Okay, so anatomy. Canine anatomy, human anatomy, equine anatomy. Well, maybe not equine, because I'm not really quite good with it. Human anatomy and canine anatomy is... God, I'm good with it. Not really. This one is depressing, so maybe not. But the rest is copyrighted. Alright. Okay. So, well, when it comes to anatomy, the most important thing is to observe the nature, living nature, or just for the photos. It depends on what you are really want to draw. If you want to draw your dog, you can just observe your dog. You can touch some part of him. If you want to draw a wolf, it's not that simple because it's not really wise to touch a wolf. So, zaplecze fotograficzne, this is Polish meaning, and this means that this is my this is just let's call this photos. This is there are photos of canines, of felines, everything that could be useful when I'm drawing, like commissions, element of backgrounds, fan arts, felines, gore and pastel gore, hares, people, reptiles, wolves, and dogs. Where do I get photos? There are many people on DeviantArt which are doing photos. Some of them letting give other members permission to use it to make as a references photos. This one was made by Lakela. This one too. And when you have a photo of something, you can just observe. There's one. I will show you some exercises. I think I can name that. When you feel when you see a picture in a newspaper or in your school book or any, just try to think how the bones and muscles are working under it. This is where is cool. The shoulder blades, bones, and knee, hip bones. It's important to observe nature and to look deeper. I had some pictures of wolf skeleton, but I don't know where they are. Well, just drawing with photos is the best way to teach how to learn the anatomy. But there is this is one thing. Don't try to really trace everything. Just make the picture smaller and try slowly copy what you see. Begin with big shapes, with a big general shapes. You can draw a bones in simplified bones, like that, like those. Beautiful. Oh, and this is one tip. Just draw a simple line with would be a ground. It would help you a lot, believe me. And don't be afraid to just use the tools what you have. If you see that something is out of place, just a select pen and move it in a better place. This is why we're doing it, to move to the better place. When we've got a general shape, like that, we can create another layer, and we just driving again and again till we are satisfied with a sketch, like that. Where I just had it. No, I didn't have a sketch by sketches. I have deleted them. Well, I would like to also show some of the scenes that are making artists some tips. Oh, like that. I really, it's not rare to see that people often draw inside of mouth like that. It's not a really good way. It's a 3D shape. It's not a box. It's not like a wait. So this is this time.
Cone.
It's more like a cone, but without this, but without this point. It's like a cone cut in half. When you're driving like this, in this angle, it's good when you just drive a muzzle and the cheeks. It's good to drive the rest of the cheeks through the muzzle, just to see where it should end. Do not make just a square box but to make a cone cut in half. Yes. And also I'm often saying that people draw earth, backward earth, like that. That there is no fluff, no is on earth, but just back of the earth. And this is not good because another word.
Hinge.
This earths are not like a doll. It couldn't move like that. It's against the law of biology. Not this layer. So I made this on one layer. The air. Let's choose another. Okay. The air will this point will be moving from that point to that point maximum. This everything of this you can just spot on the photos. I just oh, this wolf have backward ears, but they are not satellite like that, like I often see. They are satellite like that. Inner ear should be always visible, should never be behind. And this is, I think this is the most bigger since I just have been that had been spotted. Really? Huh. There is a certain if there is a certain can I ask you if there's a certain part of a body that you would like to know the if you are if you can hear that that was my cat. If there is anything you would like to know about a certain body part of a wolf, a dog, or any other canine. Just wait a minute. JJ, złaś mi z biurka. Okay, sure. JJ, wejdź z pokoju. Sorry, I was talking to my cat. I just need to tell him something about things. The muscle lines. Well, to be honest, this would photos. There are certain parts like this. The best way is to just look deep. That was deep. I mean, well, let's make this. I will ask you anyway. Are you afraid of gore, or are you afraid of seeing a living muscles, or are you afraid of the anatomy encyclopedias? Because this is how things like that are spotted, just to look at the anatomy encyclopedias and to the internet. Alright, I hope that it won't be Google Graphica is your best friend. Not really. Beware the copyrights. Anyway. Derp. And derp. Just try to find the most reliable source. This is not reliable source. By Napalm Hour on DeviantArt. I must say it so anybody would have anything against me. There are shoulder brace. I will copy this for a sec and like it. That just made a the more fluffy canine is, the more simple is to draw the muscles, because you can just show the full way. I think I'm a terrible teacher. And well, the most when you are drawing canine or any other creature, the first you must think how does it is built. Well, for the first there is a skeleton. There is a skeleton. There are muscles, and on the top of it is skin and the fur. and the teeth and everything. This is to be honest, I wasn't really prepared for anatomy. I thought that word.
Explain.
I thought that explaining the shading will take me a more time. I wasn't really prepared for anatomy, to be honest. I just have photos and some advice. But the most important advice is to just watch the nature. I know that I didn't really say anything new, or that I didn't discover the circle, any other circle, any new circle. But there is all the knowledge I get. Actually, no, again this beautiful word. I mean, not my own knowledge. But the most important thing is to watch the nature and to keep practicing, keep driving. And I know that it might be really depressing. I'm really often depressed when I watch my artwork, my new artwork, my old artwork. I see every mistake I have made, and I'm keep making. And my teachers, well, they don't really make it better. Alright, this live stream lasts 1 hour and 1.5 hours, and I think that soon my mom, my brother, well, I am proud. I'm really proud. I'm really glad. Just I have a day when I think, God damn it, I'm so good. There is no one better than me. And there is other day when I watch at everything. Oh my God, how could I draft something like that? This is not even looking like does it even look like something good? Plus, I am really good when it comes to the digital drawing and pencil or charcoal drawing. I hope that makes sense. But when it comes to the painting with acrylic paint, I don't really mention the oil paint. I'm afraid of oil paint. Well, I'm not the best one. Like, seriously. I just can't paint with brushes in traditional way. But my teacher, he makes me. But it could be worse. So I am proud. I am proud of yourself. I am glad with some of my abilities, but but I know that I'm still learning. That I will be learning for my whole life, and everybody learns for their or life for whole lives. I just wish you luck. I think that there is a good time to end. But if you have anything you would like to ask me, I'm at your disposition. That is... Yes, I'm at your disposition. I just need to talk with my cat because he's feeling lonely. Wiem. My cat is feeling lonely and he couldn't understand English, but when I'm talking with him in Polish, he doesn't obey me, obeys me anyway. So alright, thank you for your time. You were incredible because you just have hear me out my well my talking. I wish you good night, good luck. My cat is saying you goodbye too, so see you later in the next live stream because I think there will be more than just it.